Hello and welcome, I'm Brianna Meagher, and today we're going to be discussing study abroad and international education. I'm joined today by two awesome students, Lena and Manuel. Thanks for being here today, guys. How you doing?
Good.
Cool. Good. Could you guys each tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe like where you're from and where you studied abroad, or where you are studying abroad?
Well, I'm Manuel. I'm from Caracas, Venezuela. Of course, I'm an international student here at Endicott, and I study abroad in Madrid, Spain, and I'm a sport management major.
Cool.
And I'm also a junior.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I'm Lena, and I'm a finance major and events management minor.
Nice.
I'm a sophomore, so I kind of did study abroad a little early, and I'm from northern Maine. So.
Cool. Could you guys tell us each a little bit about like when you first arrived in like the country that you studied abroad in, and sort of like if there was any culture shock or how that experience was kind of upon like your first arrival?
Yeah, when I first got to Spain, it was very like, I was expecting what I saw, because it was, my culture is pretty similar than the one in Spain, but it was my first time in Europe, and it was amazing just getting there and expecting everything how it was, and I mean, it was awesome.
And what about the first time you came here?
Oh, that was, I was expecting that also because I came here for vacation a lot of times.
So it wasn't your first time?
No, it wasn't my first time coming to the States. I had been to the States many times before, and also my brothers came to the States to study, so I pretty much knew what it was going to be like. And before coming to Endicott, I went to prep school here in Massachusetts, so it wasn't like coming to Endicott wasn't the first experience I had even at education.
And what about you?
And I didn't mention, I studied abroad in Hong Kong, and that was very different.
Yeah.
As one can imagine.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We got there, it's a like 15-hour flight, and so we got there very exhausted and just like rolling our suitcases up to our apartment. So like I'm from very rural Maine, and like I've never lived in an apartment. I've never like been buying groceries for myself, let alone like lived in China for 4 months. So when I first got there, I was like, oh my gosh, like what am I doing here? This is gonna be forever. Like I called my mom right away. I was like, Mom, like why? Why did I choose this? And then like after that first month, it was like I started becoming a regular at like a coffee shop, and things didn't seem so weird, like the meat being hung like in the streets, and like it wasn't as weird anymore.
Yeah, the culture shock kind of like wore off.
Yeah, it wore off, and it is super international, but like at the same time you're still in China. So definitely there was significant culture shock like right when I got there. And we went to a really local school, so that was also culture shock in itself too. So it was different.
Yeah. So what like kind of made you guys want to study abroad and like want to visit a country that was completely different from where you are originally from?
I always wanted to go to Europe.
Yeah.
And I've heard about going abroad before, actually going abroad. One of my brothers went to Paris, and I was just looking at some like the list of countries that I could go to here at Endicott, and I went to Spain because, I just wanted to go, you know. Some people ask me like, why do you go abroad if you're already abroad?
Yep.
I just went because
why not?
I just wanted to go, wanted to get to know another part of the world. I travel a lot when I got there. I wanted to travel around Europe. I traveled around Europe, and it was awesome. I liked it,
And I wanted to, I was originally an international business major.
Okay.
And I studied abroad in high school for a semester and like lived with a family. So I kind of already knew that I wanted to have an international experience. And so I chose Hong Kong because I thought that it'd be so different. I actually studied abroad in Spain in high school, so I kind of experienced Europe a little bit, and I wanted something just completely different. I'm a business major, so it made sense.
For China.
Yeah, for China. And I mean, on a resume, it looks very different. But I also like knew nothing about Asia. And I find that a lot of people in the US don't, like, it's kind of unknown. It's more about Europe.
Yeah.
So the fact that like I now know so much more about Asia and like it was a part of the world that I never thought that I would get a chance to go to or have a desire to go to, it like completely transformed everything for me. And it really reconfirmed that I want to live abroad after college and I want to live an expat style life. So yeah.
And what would you guys say to somebody who might be considering studying abroad, or maybe somebody who's a little bit nervous, or they're not quite sure if they want to do it, but they're thinking about it? What would you say to that person?
I would say most people are questioning about going abroad.
Yeah.
Maybe because of the living style. Like living in a abroad country, some people don't like that they're gonna be living with a host family, and actually I lived with a host family. And it was the best experience. It was probably the best thing of my study abroad experience. Living with, it was my host mom and a host brother.
Yeah.
He was 7 years old, and it was amazing. Just, I was like an older brother for him. She's a single mom, and she wanted to have that brother, older brother,
person to be there.
Yeah, person to be there. And I feel like I did a really good job at that because I actually still text her every month at least. And now on spring break I'm going to Barcelona. And
oh, nice.
I'm asking my parents to go to Madrid because I want to go see them again.
Visit them.
So I would say like people that don't really if they're not sure about going abroad, if they talk to me, or I'm sure if they talk to someone else that go abroad, we're gonna convince them to go abroad because it's an amazing experience.
Yeah, and just to like play off of that, if you're questioning whether or not going abroad, you really only regret the things that you never do.
Right.
So I've heard like, some of my friends that question it. I've heard like, oh, I don't know if I can leave my dog for that long, or like, I don't know if I can leave my mom for that long. And I'm thinking like, this is an incredible experience where you can become so independent and just like experience something so different and really feel like you're living.
Yeah.
It's just an incredible experience, and if you're thinking about doing it, I just encourage everybody to.
Well, thanks so much for being here today. Really appreciate it. And thanks everyone for sticking with us. So we are going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with some Endicott staff who are going to tell us a little bit more about study abroad.
Leave something to remember so they won't forget I was here. I was here.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong, a place to forge their future. For 100 years, the Boys and Girls Clubs have opened this door for America's youth. Because while many doors open, these doors transform. They did for us. Support your local Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
With us, I'm now joined by Study Abroad Advisor Alicia Vinal and Dean of International Education Warren Jafarian. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
So could you each, we heard a lot from the students. Now I'd like to know why you guys think that study abroad is so beneficial for students.
Well, I think it develops a real sense of confidence on the side of the students, but also it gives them real-world experience that they wouldn't get here otherwise. So getting out there into another culture, learning about themselves, learning about their academics, but really the world around them, it makes a huge difference when they go to get a job.
Yeah. And could you tell us maybe about some of the study abroad destinations that Endicott offers? I know they mentioned like Hong Kong and Spain. I wanted to find out if you guys had any input on what places are like good places to go or places that maybe not a lot of people think to go.
Well, I would say that for a business student, for example, no longer is the Renaissance happening in Florence and Paris. The Renaissance now is in Beijing and Bangalore, India. So if you're a business student, you should really be thinking about where's the market today and where is it headed in the future.
Yeah.
If you're interior design, of course, Florence makes a lot of sense. But as we just heard from Lena, for example, who studied abroad in Hong Kong, that's not the typical place where our students would think of, but it's the perfect place to be studying abroad. So we have 30 different locations around the world. We have 8 academic schools here, and so each one of the majors that we have has an opportunity to study abroad.
Nice.
So it's basically like going to a restaurant and having a menu. You have to order off the menu, study abroad opportunities, but we have something for everyone.
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think that it's, you know, it makes sense. We really try to encourage students and say, what is your major? What makes sense? Think about not just where can I go to travel. Yes,
Right.
we want you to do that. We want you to experience these cultures in other countries, but academically, you know, kind of be academically minded and think, you know, where can I go? If I'm environmental science, there is a program in Australia that I can go to. If I'm a Spanish major, go to Madrid. You know, you're going to have host families. You're major or minor. You know, I'm going to have the ability to increase my language skills. And the program that we have in Madrid is Endicott's own program.
Right. There's a campus there. Isn't
Exactly.
there?
And so students who go to Madrid, like Manuel did, you're actually going to an Endicott program that's
Yeah.
in Madrid with Endicott deans. And so I think that it's really important to think about, you know, what location can most benefit me
Right.
in the variety of ways.
So you don't want to just go somewhere to go somewhere. It's like you want to
Exactly.
tailor it to your major and maybe what you're thinking of for the future.
And I think
Yes.
that's the hard thing. A lot of students will want to study where their students, their friends are studying or their roommates.
Yeah.
And it may not necessarily be the best idea for them. So what we really try to do is to counsel each student to say, what's the best thing for you now and then for the long term for your major.
And so if a student is interested in study abroad, where should they start? Kind of like, what's that process like?
So the first place to start is studyabroad.endicott.edu. So you start there, you can see the whole list of programs that we just talked about. The next place to start is one of our information programs that we have. We have one coming up next week, for example. Then you'll go learn all the specifics about studying abroad, but it's very easy. It's all electronic. There's no paper anymore. And one of the best parts about studying abroad at Endicott is that you have Endicott credits and your financial aid and your scholarships travel with you. And that's not the case at other institutions.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to do. It's just a couple of mouse clicks and you're in.
Cool. Do you guys have anything you want to add about study abroad, or maybe tell us a little bit about how you guys got involved with study abroad and maybe even like an experience you've had abroad?
Well, I studied abroad in Africa. I studied international studies and had a double major in French. So I spent a lot of time in Africa. I came back, ended up going into the Peace Corps, ended up working because of those experiences. I worked for a French multinational company, ended up living in 11 countries and traveling to more than 111. And that gave me my opportunity here. So I would say, you know, even if you're not thinking about studying abroad, it's going to make a huge impact, and you should. And I know that Alicia studied abroad as well.
Yeah, I studied abroad in London during my undergrad, and I think for me it's, I studied abroad, I came back to my home institution, and I didn't know how one did it, but I knew that when I got back, I somehow wanted to work with study abroad programs.
Yeah.
I didn't know the world of higher ed and student affairs, and so it was sort of this mantra, like one day I will do this. I just have to figure out how to get there. And so right off the bat, when I came back, I was a very big advocate for it, was a peer advisor, was always up for telling students about going abroad. When I started working at a college, it wasn't in the field, but I had students that were working for me. I was encouraging them to go abroad, even when I wasn't part of this. And so for me, it had, you know, you can sound, it sounds very cliche to say it's life changing and can help you make those decisions, but you know, for me, I knew that I wanted to work with study abroad programs after going abroad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all we have time for, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anybody that's interested in studying abroad, definitely reach out to Warren or Alicia or check out the Endicott website and you can find some more information. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.